amazing viewers. Hi, world. Hi, Nigeria. What's up, ABJs, Your Unprecedented Coded, Royal Highness, Vocal Flyers. Today on our podcast, Bands, of course, we have amazing guests. On my left, I have a beautiful woman. She's a gender advocate. Miss Ifike. Thanks for coming, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
And on my right, I have a mother, a mentor, actually the one that every presenter on TV wants to be like. She's someone you watch and you fall in love with her. She has over 15 years experience on television presentation. So that we Kakaki, a program where everybody watches on independent television, AIT, every morning. Now he moves to gender agenda more. Adora or Sydney Jack. It's good to have you, Ma.
Thank you.
I've been watching you for so many years, and I've been praying that one day I'll be seated next to you and tell you how you've inspired people like us. Thank you so much, Ma. It's a privilege.
Privilege too.
Today's podcast is wide. It's a topic I love so much. It's actually speaking about me personally, but does true love exist? It's interesting because growing up, I saw fire growing up. I saw unfriendly uncles. My mom left. I saw uncles who were not ready to help anybody. Aunties who were not there to even tell you, have you eaten? Are you wearing good clothes? Just on the family, and then I was supposed to do hard jobs, minute works, drive Okada to school. There was no love. Primary school, done with that. Secondary school, I saw no love. I came to an uncle, and the uncle told me, "You're too small to survive." I left my uncle's house. I slept outside for 2 weeks. There was no love, and normally we're supposed to have love from family. A child that grows up being loved becomes a lovable personality. Love is not something you just do abracadabra and put in an adult. It's inculcated from childhood. It's indoctrinated. That's why from childhood, when you see a child doesn't know love, actually he might become a wife beater. He starts molesting the girlfriend. There was no love. He grew up in an atmosphere where there was beating. The father was always using the mom as a punch bag. And when you say those true love exists, Ma. But before we jump into that. Just a quick question. If you were to choose a country where you'd be born into, where would you choose, ma'am?
Nigeria.
This same Nigeria, or would there be another Nigeria? Why do you say so, ma'am? Why Nigeria?
Because I've traveled quite a while, and there's no place like home. You find out that other people from other countries want to be from Nigeria. When they come here, they want to acclimatize, they want to marry our men, they want to marry our women. There's so much love, there's so much energy to, integrate. The convergence is pure. Outside the country, you see people there, a lot of them are melancholic. You get on road transports or cheap, you find out that people don't want to interact. When you greet them, they're offended. So Nigeria is a big space where everybody comes and there is no, there's no racism, if I could use the word, even though there is tribalism or maybe ethnocentrism. But, people who come from other parts of the world, when they come here, want to encounter our culture, our food, our festivals, our art, our programming. So there's no place like home. I know it's quite tough now, and people are going through a process, that is not really kind on them economically. But like I always say, we are only as good as our next, leader. So it's left for us to demand accountability, whilst also making sure that those that are in office really, really look at the human angle of Nigeria's plight.
Absolutely, Ma. You're a gender advocate. Would you say that there is love? But I'll ask you this question quickly. If you were to decide, when God is sending you to where you're going to say the country you go to, where would you choose?
I would choose Nigeria too.
Did you guys discuss this in your dream?
No.
Have you met me before?
No.
So how come Nigeria? And me, personally, I want to Japan. I'm patriotic, actually. I love Nigeria. But with the way things are going for over, I've been here for like 3 decades, and I've seen the same thing, though it was different while we're growing up, ma. So why would you choose Nigeria now that everybody wants to move out?
So if everybody moves out, who will stay in Nigeria?
Do you know what's happening in the East now? Unknown government now on the street telling everybody in the East that we're taking over the East for 2 weeks. Are you still choosing Nigeria?
Yeah, I will stay choose Nigeria.
Why?
It's the land of my birth. Yeah, was born here, grew up here, everything here. So I'm part of Nigeria.
And we die here.
Yeah.
Man, the president took us on a 20 minutes live session yesterday addressing Nigerians, my fellow Nigerians, and he talked about what will I say, loans, root of law. He talked about loans, and he spoke about he having plans and also understanding the sufferings of Nigeria, but there's no immediate palliative measures to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy instantaneous removal. Somebody's saying, why don't you leave it for 2 weeks? Let people, feel that Jagaban just entered, a man that likes to, do things. But then instantaneously, free subsidy, bah! So fuel escalated from 540 to 617, and he says he understands what we are going through. Does he understand what we're going through?
Well, I think that he's the president, like I said. He may not feel it personally because he's not the one buying the fuel. He's not the one that has to change the exchange rate. But it's the business person down the street, is the woman selling her buka. It is those who have to go and buy fuel and queue for fuel at the filling station. So like I always say, the president is one man, but it is his working team. I mean, yes, the bulk stops at his table, but what is the process before it gets there? So, I mean, ministerial nominee screening was yesterday. We are hoping to see that people who have thought for humanity would be in those spaces.
I heard that name. I heard that name. There's a preponderance of people from the north.
Yes,
on that
so
list.
I'm hoping. So basically, the president is saying what he's supposed to be saying, to be politically and socially correct. But then, in real time, does he know where the person who does not have electricity to power their business is? No. So again, what are the policies? Who are the drivers? The thinking tank, those around him. The legislator too can be held accountable, because they also need to look at the issues concerning the common man. They were elected to do that. So whether Mr. President says, I mean, he's meant to, I mean, is he going to say continue to suffer? That fuel is meant to bite hard. I mean, it's the opposite. And that's what socialization is.
It's meant to say, I actually told you guys it's my turn. I told Buhari it's my turn, and I'll do whatever way I want here.
Exactly.
Nigerians were saying Lagos, he did wonders in Lagos, and right now he's doing wonders with us right now. But you see Pepe, ma. Speaking from the home perspective, you see Pepe, Abi?
Yeah.
Agbado Pepe, Yoruba kind of Pepe.
I don't know the Abado Pepe, but we see Pepe.
Okay, from women perspective, do you think is there love in Nigeria as a mother?
Yeah. As a mother, there is love for her children, for her family, for everybody around her. That makes her a mother.
But as a citizen of this country, are you seeing love from our leaders too?
No.
To the citizens?
I'm not seeing any love from our leaders. What they have is self-love. They only know their self. Because if they have love, they will extend the love to their people. They will extend the love to Nigerians. Nigerians won't be suffering or dying or being in depression and frustration. That means there is no love in them. They should extend the love. If they have love in them, they should extend it to Nigerians. They have to extend the love. That's when we know whether they have love in them or not.
Thank you so much, Ma. Now let's talk about true love in general. Does true love exist?
Well, love is relative. Like I listened to you earlier, it starts from self-love. And from self-love, then you can now identify whether love exists or not. Because if you don't have self-love, you cannot identify love. And that's where I take it from. Any other thing outside that, is make-believe. And when you think of self-love, you're thinking about how it affects other people. You have a consciousness. You have, that level of engagement to understand what true love means in the outer spec. But if you don't know it to yourself, you can't be able to identify it in the outer space.
Let's talk about love from a mother to a child, love in the family, relationship, emotional love, as it concerns us as humans, because humans are the one that makes up, the country. There's no love from family. It cannot communicate love in a society. Let's talk about love as a relationship, yeah.
Well, relationships are birthed and they get grown, and a mother to a child. I mean, It depends. What if the mother is going through postnatal depression? At that point, there is no emotion. Doesn't mean she doesn't love the child. It means that her self love right then is not existent. She has to find herself. So, like I said, it's relative. I mean, relationship. It depends on what fuels it and what kind of love you have existing on. Did you? I mean, was it a sexual relationship before you figured friendship out? What is the process of that relationship? People wake up and say, "Oh, I don't want this anymore. I'm done. I don't love you anymore." At what point did you not, did you stop loving the person? What was your definition of love? Because some people will tell you love is unconditional, and people get married and say for better for worse, and then they still go through divorce. So what is the foundation of that love? What's the roadmap? Unless you can identify it and you trace it back to self-love, then you're able to say, okay, fine, isolate it and say, in this relationship, this is what thrived, and this is so. Sometimes love could be, exaggerated illusion, or perhaps emotional dependence. It could also be economically dependent emotion that thrived into, perhaps you would say possession or obsession, or territorialism. Because people, when they have something that they are getting in a relationship or dependent on, and is no longer there, then you can see the real personality emerge. So you have to find out what are the tenets of that love. What is the block? Is it really love? Is it, I mean, would you call it infatuation? Would you call it sexual dependence? What would you call it in its practical terms? Without, so the word love on its own is also abused. Because so many people use it for so many things, and you see it on skates. Oh, that I love you now. So the socialization of the word becomes really non-important in the context, but it's really a deep word that people need to really be practical about when they think about it before they say it. So that's my take.
Ladies and gentlemen, love is the greatest commandment of God, of course. John 3:16. Love is the anchor to Christianity, Islam, whatever you say, but it's actually the foundation to humanity. If there's no love, we all will be acting like animals instead of humans. You all know that, but we also don't know that either you're from the north, east, south, west, wherever you're from, we all are going to be buried on the ground. Nobody we then could bury for what our we're all going 6 feet. If we understand that, we understand that that's one day we're all gonna die. So the hatred, the malice, the prolonged bitterness, anger, everything should be eroded so we can have a better world. Your next door neighbor can be hungry. Are you able to extend a plate of food and water? That's how love starts. Christianity is actually in practice. You have to practice what you preach. Lots of people are pastors, but then go drive their big car past. Just remember that trekking in the rain. The man go there, the color AC, go drive past. Are you practicing love? Are politicians, do you really love the citizens? Or you come to power and what you do is to extort and fill your purse. That even when you're gone, you go bury money on the ground that we can't even trace. You all know what I'm talking about. And then those in the offices, the bosses, please, are you showing love to your immediate employee? Or you are supercilious to the extent that this person is going through mental depression. You don't even care. People come to offices and they cry. You don't even know where they are. They can go home and commit suicide. You don't care. You're looking at, are you doing your job well? This is something we'll have to think about. Very, very important nugget of wisdom. Just remember that one day it's just easy. We all will go. Lots of people that 30 years ago are gone and buried. One day we'll all be gone, and our children will be there to talk about our memories. The memory you're going to leave is love to your neighbor, to the enemies, to those around you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Bands with Coded. I've had amazing guests with me, man. Final words before we sign out. Final words on true love.
Find out, let everybody show love to one another. Show love to your neighbor, your colleagues, anybody that you comes in contact with. Try to show love to that person, because you never know where you or that person will meet again. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've had the lioness 15 years on television. My final words on true love. We can talk about this for like 1 year, but let's just give them fire and run away, man.
Self-love. I think when you figure out yourself and you love yourself, you'll be able to have, some level of understanding of what the next person is going through. I'm not saying, break your boundaries and go to the extreme. I mean, some people will have only 2 naira, and somebody will call them and say, "Oh, because God will bless me," they will send the 2 naira, and then they will be hungry, and then they're asking somebody else for something. So, I mean, be logical, but also be practical by giving love.
Okay.
True self-love.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've had the amazing guest, a lady on television that you love to see and to speak to and to listen to. For those of you who love, please, you know where to follow her on social medias. Adora Onyechere Sydney Jack, right? That's on our social media.
Thank
I got
you.
that right
Yeah.
because I'm your son. I follow you very much. You can also don't forget to subscribe on YouTube at Legacy Prime TV Africa. Very important. I'm saying that deeply so you can hear me. I can use the baritone voice for that. Click notification button, subscribe, drop a comment on our videos. Please make sure you share them with your next neighbor. What we just unloaded to you is nuggets of wisdom that will outlive us. So please make sure you share this video to the next person watching you. My name is Coded. On Instagram is Coded Entertainer. They call me the Royal Highness, the Vocal Flyers. God bless you. Don't forget you're a star. You're born to shine. Don't forget to let love lead and practice what you preach. God bless you.